Hi everyone, welcome to the debrief. I'm Dee, and you can find me here on my YouTube channel, on my Facebook page, or on whackedouteSig.ca. Today I'm going to be doing an equipment review, the Sigeilei T-Max. And this is one that I picked up from Exhale Vapors. Had it for about a week, but there is currently a co-op in Canada going on, one of Star's co-ops, and I'll put the link to the Facebook group on the screen, or of course you can find it on whackedouteSig.ca. So right away, I'm predisposed to like it. I got the pink one. I like the girly colors. I'm sure you guys can tell by now. It's a fairly hefty little device. Even without the batteries in it, it's got some weight to it, but it does fit nicely in the hand. I tend to hold mine mostly like this, with my thumb on the button, but here, I'm going to hold it with the other hand because it looks better on the camera. It also works quite well that way. Aesthetics out of the way, there's not much to say about it. It's a box mod. I haven't noticed the finish rubbing off at all, but I've only had it for a week, so I guess time will tell on that one. The menu is pretty much exactly like a Z-Max. So three presses to enter it. All the normal options. You can switch between variable voltage, variable wattage. You can change what the display shows when you fire it. It'll show you either the resistance of your atomizer, it'll show you your voltage output or your wattage output if you're on wattage, or it'll show you what's left on your battery. It does have that lovely little RMS average setting. Mine was defaulted on the average, so of course I changed it to the RMS. I still haven't figured out what the purpose of the average setting is. If anybody could tell me, I'd appreciate it. So not much to say about the menu. It's fairly standard. Should have a pretty easy time figuring it out. Mine didn't come with a user manual, but it didn't take me too long to get used to it. Battery ports. So of course you can see that they're very well vented. One side is for an 18650, one side is for an 18350. They're not both going to be in use at once though. I'll just show you here. So the one side just has a little foam plug in it. And the other side has the battery for the negative post. I have heard other people talk about how they have trouble removing and putting these back on. They do feel a little bit odd because of they're not quite beveled, I don't know what you want to call them, scalloped edges. But I haven't really had any trouble. They've come off pretty easy for me, gone back in fairly smoothly. Definitely not as stiff as the threading on the SID. I had a much easier time with this one. I do find that it does the same thing that the SID does, which is when you change the battery, it does change your screen output to be your wattage or your voltage output by default, although it does remember what wattage you were on. I have also noticed that it is a regulated device to a point. I tried to use one of the batteries out fully to see if it cut off properly at the 3.2 volts. I couldn't get down that far. At about 3.8 volts, I started getting a bit anemic on the vape, and by the time I hit 3.5, I just couldn't take it anymore. So it's got some issues with the regulation on the wattage. But since I usually change my batteries out at 3.9, 3.8 volts anyway, it's not enough to be a problem for me. Now it looks like we have a special guest. Hello, Maisie. She's going to come help me review. Okay. Yes, I know. Okay, so Maisie has decided that she wants to help me with this review, so we're just going to keep going. So just talking about the wattage. And like I said, the fact that it doesn't seem to fully. Okay, so the feline attack is over. Back to the review. Overall, I like the device. I have read reports from some other people that when they're using ego-threaded cartomizers or atomizers on there, that the 510 connector has been unscrewing on them, and then the wire connected to the connector breaks, thus rendering their device unusable. As you can see, the top is just attached with some screws. Looks like Allen key heads to me. If you like to use those types of addies, either be careful that you're not over tightening them, or perhaps take the top off and either epoxy or Loctite around the threading to keep that from happening. And of course, what's an equipment review without seeing it in action here? So the button feels a little bit wiggly, but it fires pretty smoothly, really. I mean, I haven't had it misfire, so I've been pretty happy with it overall. I would be happier if both sides were 18650. To my mind, the point of having two sides where one is always inactive is that you carry your spare battery around in the device. An 18350 is only going to give you maybe an extra couple hours, if that. Although I suppose they probably needed some room for the electronics in there. But I still wish it was, maybe either 18500 even, or 18650 on the second battery. But if you like variable voltage and variable wattage devices, especially at the co-op price, which is, I believe, $42, this is a really excellent buy. You're not going to get something perfect for less than $50. It's got its quirks. At one point, I was juggling my mod and my purse and my phone, and I don't know what I hit on it, but I made the screen just completely turn off, and I ended up having to take the battery out and put it back in to get it working again. And I've never been able to replicate it, so I can't tell you what you need to do to make your battery your mod just completely turn off like that. But in the grand scheme of things, again, not a big deal. Comes in a lot of colors. I'm not sure what the co-op is ordering the colors on. It's a good device for the price. Watch the threading if you do like the ego threaded atomizers. And so for me, this is a buy. For the price that it is, you get something pretty good for the value. It feels good in the hand. It's nice, sleek looking box mod. It does fit both the 510 and the ego threaded atomizers, although you are going to want to be careful if you do like the ego threads to not unscrew that connector. And well vented. You've got that ability to have a second battery to take out with you for the day so that you don't run the risk of running out. And just all in all, it's a nice little device. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys all either on my Facebook page or on whackedoutesig.ca. Until then, vape happy.